So I think I got this leek thing figured out. These are the same leeks I showed you. I don't remember. It was several weeks ago, maybe a month ago. You remember the white part on them wasn't by that long.
Yeah.
You just got to keep healing them. Heal them and heal them till you can't heal them no more. I had these healed if this was the level ground about this tall. And
well, now you talking about like you do taters and corns? What you talking about?
Yeah, even higher than I do taters and corn. There is a law on taters. There is a little bit of a diminishing return there. You heal them more than you need to. You ain't really doing a whole lot. But Miss Hoss came in here the other day showing me her leeks, and she hadn't healed hers. But they were about this big around, and I told her, you know, because I learned this from
you. Give her some direction, did you?
Yeah, I give her some direction. If your leeks are getting big and they only got a little bit of edible part on them, don't worry. You can throw dirt to them, and they'll bleach out pretty quick.
Now, I'm no leek expert by no means, but the edible part on a leek is the white part.
Right.
The green part is not as edible as what an onion is.
No, it's not edible. So you take these, I'll show you. Another thing about leeks is, and people don't realize,
man, that's a leek there.
They got some root structure on them. And this is just what pulls out of the ground. When you put a fork in there and kind of lift them up a little bit, that root structure is like a foot in diameter. Even in really sandy soils like we got, you can't pull these up out of the ground. They'll break off about right here. So you have to get a fork.
And lift them.
And then you can shake the dirt off of them. So this is, and I brought you some. This is what they look like right here.
This is what when they go on to the end customer, what they look like.
Right. So once we clean them up, I just take some scissors, cut them off the top there. I cut them roots off, then I range them off with a water hose, and that's what they look like there. Now we made some leek. My wife made some leek cabbage sausage soup last night. So start off with some leeks in there sauteed, then added some cabbage and sausage, and man, had a lot more flavor than your average cabbage soup did. And you can also take these things, cut them in half like that, throw them on the grill.
Well, you reckon if any of the folks out there has got their favorite leek recipe, you reckon they could send it so we could
put it in the comments?
Because I sure would like to know, because I am new to the leek thing.
And there's a lot of people out there I found that have never grown leeks before.
Well, this is my first year.
And I tell you, if you like growing onions, you like growing leeks. And leeks
come off a little sooner than the onions do.
Yeah, but leeks are easier to grow than onions to me because it's not like onion's got those two phases there, and there's some tricks to it because once your onions start bulbing, you got to lay off the fertilizer. These guys right here, you just keep pumping it to them. So you just keep laying the fertilizer to them and keep healing them, and
next thing you know, boom!
And it's not like an onion that falls over and you got to harvest it one time. You can let these things keep going. So they hold good, is what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Let's say hey to everybody before we get too
all right
here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Row by Row Garden Show. I'm Travis.
And I'm Greg.
We've got a really good show for you tonight. We're going to talk about our most popular seed varieties. I've got a list compiled. I did some hard, deep data digging, some analytics, and we've got our most popular ones we're going to talk about.
Well, we're going to tell them what the customer says the most popular one, not what we say.
They'll use that like a fan like they did in the old days.
Yeah, you can fan me. Yeah, I need some fanning.
You hot?
I've been hot. Now I've had it hard. I've had a hard day.
Hard day. Been a lot of seed trays going out of here, hasn't there?
Been a lot of seed trays. I've been having to go to work early and getting off late.
That's right.
When I put my bandana on my head, the boys in the back, they knew to get out of the way. Business is fixing to happen.
So a lot of people have been asking about taters. Now, we're not going to do a show on taters this week because we're just getting our bearings. They just came in.
I'm talking about I'm still spinning. We're still getting our bearings.
Just getting our bearings. We packing them and shipping them right now.
Right now.
As you're watching this. But I just want to give a little teaser on these because I didn't bring all of them out of here. So just to be evidence there, we do got taters in here, and they are packing them and shipping them as we're talking to you right now. So that's a Yukon Gold right there. There's your red Norland. Now these right here.
They shout this here is what we're trying to say.
Fella told me this is the Austrian crescent. I sometimes want to say Australian. I think it's Austrian crescent fingerling potato. He's got a pretty good size fingerling tater there. And these things are supposed to be absolutely delicious. And from what we hear, we're going to be one of the only ones that really got any decent supply of these things this year. So if you want some of these, and they're supposed to be really good, you need to go on and get them, because
we can't get no more than what we was lucky to get. What we had ordered, we can't get any more.
So we got those there. And we'll be getting them taters out. Just a reminder, we can't ship them if it's freezing. So,
well, I mean, I want people to bear with us a little bit. We're getting the folks in the South orders out first, and the reason is because I can ship them. I ain't got to worry about them. Excuse me.
And they need the plant taters.
Well, they need the plant taters, but we can ship them, and I don't have to worry about them freezing in transit. So our Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, those guys are getting theirs first. But bear with me, just as soon as I can get them out to you, I'm going to get yours out. And there's a lady that lived in Washington. Emailed, won't know about her taters. I said, I'll get your taters out just as soon as I can. But now I got to be real careful.
That's a long way from Georgia.
And she can't plant them no way. Right. But I guess they her taters. She's done bought and paid for them. She wants, and I want to give them to her. But I'm just going to have to wait for a window of opportunity to get them in the mail where they won't freeze.
There's a lot of cold between here and Washington.
We ain't doing this on purpose. We actually got a plan on this tater thing where we watch the weather and we ship it accordingly and try to get them to you. So bear with us. I can promise you're going to get your taters if you bought them from us. But it's just a matter of figuring all the logistics out. And I'm the tater logistic manager, and I have to look at the weather, figure out the avenues to get them out. And we don't like
get them there in time where you can still plant them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, a lot of folks is itching, but we're going to get them out. Speaking of taters, now when it comes time to plant taters, and taters is one of the first things we plant in the spring. That's kind of when everybody gets the fever, and everybody's got their different indicators out there of how they can tell when it's time to get ready for taters and stuff.
A lot of people, say in Zone 8 it's Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. But some people use other indicators. Some people look at the almanac, which I find is always a couple weeks late than what I like to do. Some people look at certain trees blooming. The magnolias start blooming early here. That's a good sign.
Right.
The sign, how I know when it's time to plant.
How do you know?
I know when the gypsies come to town.
Woo! The gypsies come.
Gypsies, you look a little bit like a gypsy today.
I feel a little bit like a gypsy too.
And now a lot of people don't know what gypsies are and what gypsies do, but we got some gypsies that come to town around here, and I know they come
every year
about this time, because last year I was in my dream garden. I was tilling up my tater spot, and I had 2 different gypsies stop by offering to paint my barn roof. And I know how that deal works.
The 3 jigs that I know to have is they got some leftover asphalt down the road. They're gonna give you a deal on that, redo your driveway, or they're gonna paint you. If they find a barn that with a metal roof on a little rust on there, they're gonna stop and try to sell you on painting that roof. Or they come by and they got some of these generators and pieces of equipment on the back truck that are new and wrapped. And the truck they had got something happened to it, and they got to get rid of this equipment. They got to get it ready to give you a deal on it. That's the 3 little jigs I know of.
Gypsy jigs.
Gypsy jigs.
You got to be careful. Don't get gypped by a gypsy.
Don't be gypped by a gypsy. And they've been gypping people. Them gypsies been gypping people around here for a long time.
Yep. They in fact, they got your daddy, my grandpa, the one they called Pa.
Yeah.
On the asphalt job. Now he don't like to talk about it.
He don't like. It's a sore subject. And I brought it up one time, and he talked a little ugly to me, and I kind of left it alone after that. But he knowed he'd been gypped.
Gypped by a gypsy.
Yep.
Now I posted something about this on our Road by Road group on Facebook, and I always thought most of the gypsies were from in Travelers Rest.
I did too. I watched a documentary on that one time NBC had, and that's where I come up with that.
And I think there are some up there, but our buddy Greg Page, who's in the Road by Road group, he lives up that way, and he said the asphalt gypsies, the ones that come by here the other day, they not from up there.
They're from a different section.
Yeah, so I guess the gypsies in Travelers Rest might have a different jig. Now, I did have a feller in Texarkana, Texas, say he had some asphalt gypsies close to him.
They always got all their equipment on one truck, and they got one dump truck. I passed them going down the road, you can recognize them because they can move in and they can move out real quick.
And if you ask them for a card or website, they ain't got nothing.
Yeah, but they always got a job down the road, got a bunch left over. We got to do something with it. We're going to give you a deal on it, but we got to do it today.
So if you got any, well, I'm sure as many customers we got across the South, there's a lot of folks out there that might live near some gypsies. If you live near any gypsies, let us know where they are. We start a new social media site called Gypsy Book. Let everybody know where the gypsies are.
It's always been kind of fascinating to me.
And me too. Anyway, enough about gypsies. I want to talk about the videos we got coming up, videos we had this week. So if you hadn't seen the videos we had already this week, we had one about our English pea tunnel that we did. We did a greenhouse update. The greenhouse update, I showed planting lettuce kind of two ways. Planting pelleted lettuce for head lettuce, and then using the bottom tray to do your little kind of indoor salad, with some of that baby leaf mix and thick. And never fails. I had somebody ask me on there, were them seeds, them lettuce seeds, GMO seeds or not? And you know how that just fires me up. Folks, there's no such thing as a GMO lettuce seed. And
Well, they didn't know. That's the reason I asked.
They didn't know, but somebody had lied to them and told them it was.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to leave it at that.
Anyway, speaking of seeds, I got a few. Every week I like to show everybody some new varieties we got coming.
You talking about brand new?
Brand new. Just got packed. And these are a couple, these two cucumbers are ones that I've already told y'all about. And I had a lot of people waiting for them to come out. I know Gary in Florida, he's been itching to get him some of these right here. We got this Diomede cucumber and this Max Pack cucumber. Both of these, you might not remember. You remember the show we did a few weeks ago? I told you all the different things they were resistant to, and it was things we ain't never heard of before. So these two cucumbers right here are resistant to just about anything you could imagine. The Diomede is a slicer. The Max Pack is pickling. This one is gynoecious, meaning all female flowers, so you need to plant a whole row with this one. This one is not gynoecious, so you can plant just a few plants of the Max Pack. But if you live in hot, humid climates and need a cucumber that's going to make it on into summer, either of those are going to be great for you.
Those are mildew resistant, best I remember.
Mildew and everything.
Yeah.
Papaya ring spot virus, zucchini watermelon virus,
catnip virus, and everything.
Then we got the Athena cantaloupe. We've been telling y'all about that. We got it packed on the site.
Let me say a little bit about the Athena cantaloupe. If you have bought a cantaloupe in the last few years in the eastern part of the United States from a supermarket, more likely it was the Athena variety. This variety right here has been the mainstay of the commercial growers on the eastern part of the United States for years. Now, the western part of the United States, it's always been a smaller cantaloupe. They always wanted a smaller cantaloupe the other side of Mississippi than what we did here. Don't know why. It's just one of the things that's always been. But you can't sell a big cantaloupe over there. You can't sell a small cantaloupe over here. But this Athena is a variety that's been around a long time, proven good cantaloupe. So if good disease resistant, and it's just it's the best one out there right now. So if you want to grow a few cantaloupes, that would be the one I'd go with. And I don't even like cantaloupes.
I can eat them in small.
I don't care. Now my wife loves them, but
they don't. I like a watermelon better.
Yeah.
The last one here we got is this black I don't even know if you've seen that
one. I've seen it. Man, I can about eat paper off the thing.
This black zebra cherry tomato.
Don't that look good?
These darker tomatoes, we know from the Cherokee purple tomatoes. Those darker tomatoes just have kind of real, like a deep meaty flavor. And this is a cherry tomato. It kind of looks like that cherry.
Is that OP variety or hybrid?
I can't remember.
Ooh, tested you there, didn't I?
Tested me. I can't look it up. My brain is jogged from all these seeds. Anyway, I'm definitely growing that one. That one right there.
It's an indeterminate, I'm assuming.
Yeah. We were in last time I was in the North Georgia mountains. Ingalls is big up there, and they got all these huge Ingalls stores. And I was in
Blairsville,
Blue Ridge, somewhere around there, and went into Ingalls, and they had this cherry tomato bar, and it was the coolest thing I ever seen. And it was a lot of those real specialty, unique looking cherry tomatoes. And they had like 8 or 10 different varieties in little baskets, and you got your little cup, and you could fill you up some.
Wow!
And my youngest one, Titus, loves cherry tomatoes.
I ain't seen nothing Titus didn't like.
Anyway, I'm excited about growing those. Okay. One more thing, your cornbread recipe, your crackling cornbread, you did
yeah.
a few weeks ago. A lot of people have been asking about the recipe on that. Is that something you can just throw off the top of your head?
No, I'd have to dig down. I need a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next week.
I got tater packing on my mind right now. You just throw cornbread recipe on me right in the middle of tater packing.
All right. So let's get into these most popular seed varieties.
Oh, we're going from 10 to 1, with 1 being the best.
We can do however.
No, let's do that. Let's round up.
Okay.
Let's start out.
I got to reverse my order.
Yeah, let's start out there and work our way up.
Okay. And before we do this, so these are basically what we looked at is the ones we've sold the most of since we started carrying seeds, which has been a little bit over a year since we've done that. And just to reflect on that a little bit, the response has been absolutely overwhelming. We appreciate all you out there that have enjoyed buying our seeds. We really try to make a commitment to quality and good germination, and we hope you continue buying seeds from us, and we're going to keep doing our best to make sure you got the best seeds you can get.
So what we want to do today is we want to tell you the 10 most popular varieties.
Well, that's the 15.
15, excuse me.
I went with 15. Just
our 15 most popular varieties that the customer chose, not us, that the customer chose last year were the best sellers.
Okay. Number 15, Lacinato kale. And any of these 15 I can't argue with. They're all ones we grow pretty regularly and we talk about a good bit.
Yeah.
Lacinato kale, like I always say, one of the most productive crops you can grow in the garden. Even down here in the South, you can grow this stuff 9 to 10 months out of the year.
I got some growing now.
I do too. Number 14.
Now this one surprised me just a little bit.
A little bit, but this is my go-to carrot variety.
Yeah, but as many carrots as we got, that just surprised me.
Yeah. So the Bolero carrot here, and I got some carrots there. I'll talk about those when we get done. The Bolero carrot, which is a hybrid carrot, and it's just the one I've been growing for the longest time. It's just a good producer for me as far as the orange carrot goes. Then number 13, I'll put them over here. Number 13 is not a vegetable, but something that should be in everybody's garden.
Why, yes.
Cut flowers, and this is our Veneri Giant Zinnia Mix. This one you get all the good colors there, with the exception of the lime. You get the pink, the orange, the red, the yellow, even some of the white. You can direct seed those, or we like to transplant them in spring. Either way.
There is a lot of zinnias out in the market, and you can buy some cheap zinnia seeds. You can buy them real cheap. There's lots of different ones out there. One of the reasons this is a bestseller because it is special.
Mm-hmm. It is special.
In my book, it's the best mix they are out there.
For cut flower growth. If it doesn't have, this is just my personal opinion with zinnias, it doesn't have that Veneri name on them. It's just kind of second.
Now our friend Lisa Ziegler with Gardener's Workshop, she'll tell you the same thing. She's been growing a lot longer than we have.
Number 14, what number are we on? Number 12, I think. Number 12, Spineless Beauty Zucchini, which is a winner. I grew it last year. I had grown it before that. A really, really nice zucchini. Now, I will say this. We got a variety. I didn't bring it out here. I got a variety that's just on the side that's similar to Spineless Beauty, but it's got some disease resistance, a little more disease resistant to it, called Spineless Supreme.
Ooh, kicked it up a notch, did you?
Kicked it up a notch. But this Spineless Beauty, like I said, has been really, really popular. Check out that Spineless Supreme too. You might want to grow both of them and see which one does better for you. Nice green zucchini. Number 11, I don't have here because we're out of it.
Man,
rattlesnake
had me all pumped up, Burns.
So rattlesnake pole beans. I don't have those here. We're working on getting more of those.
Yep.
Very, very popular. Our most popular bean variety. And we're out of the pounds and the packets on those. Number 10, Jimmy Red corn. Now, we did some videos back in the day about bloody butcher corn. And then we got doing some research, and some stuff out there was floating around. This Jimmy Red, and there seems to be some debate on this, but is an improved strain of Bloody Butcher seems to be.
Correct. You're correct. That particular strain was grown off the coast or found off the coast of South Carolina.
And we got an exclusive hook on this variety here. You're not going to find this floating around anywhere else. And if you want you some corn to grind and make grits and cornmeal out of, that is the one to go with, right?
Yes, sir. And we actually sell a little grinder. But if you love to grind your own flour or whatever, you gotta try this Jimmy Red. And you know, a lot of your distilleries, I get 3 or 4 calls a year from big distilleries. They want this Jimmy Red corn to make whiskey out of. It's highly sought after.
I've had within the last month 2 people call and order 10 pounds or more of it that were using it for craft distilleries. It's become really popular for that. Number 9 is cucumber. Pickling cucumber. This is our gynoecious pickling cucumber called Calypso. It's really popular. This is a big, heavy producer. Produces all female flowers. Great if you like making pickles or canning stuff with cucumbers.
That's the one I grew last year. That's my go-to there.
Number 8. I might lose count here. It'll be all right. Green Magic broccoli. This is our most popular variety of broccoli. It's a nice heat-tolerant broccoli. We grow it in our gardens, and a lot of the big commercial guys grow it around here. It's just a really good variety.
We've seen that in a trial way up north a couple of years ago, where they grew it all during the summertime and had tremendous results with it.
Now, I can't grow it all during the
summer. But I
can grow it on into April.
Yeah, they was in the great state of Maine, and they could grow it all summer.
What number am I on? Number 7?
Yeah.
I got one more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trap.
The Stonewall cucumber. We don't have. We've been waiting on that a while, and one reason I'm excited about getting that diomede in there is I got another hybrid slicer to replace. It's not going to replace the Stonewall, but it would make a more than suitable replacement if you're looking to grow the Stonewall. The Stonewall is a great slicer. Done really well for me last year, and we hope to have some in soon, but if you're itching to get them right now, I would highly recommend that diomede. That's the one I'm growing this year.
Diomede. Who come up with names like that? Diomede. Now, if you're a new gardener, or if you've had trouble, you won't pay attention to this one, because if you can't grow this one, you just need to give it up. Anybody can grow this one right here.
Yeah, I agree. This is a gold prize squash. Okay, this is a straight neck yellow squash, and I've had several people. I will attest to this myself, but I've had several people tell me this is, and this ain't this is kind of a southern word. This is the makingest squash they have ever seen. I had a fellow in Texas tell me that, and it will keep
highly productive.
High yielding, very productive gold prize squash, and like you said. You can't grow anything else.
Yeah. If you're struggling and you're a new gardener and you want to just do something, hey, do that right there, and I guarantee it'll pay off in about 50, 55 days at the most.
And speaking of squash, yellow squash, I got, let's say 2, maybe 3 new varieties of yellow squash. I got one called Gentry, which is a semi-crookneck, which has been around for a while, and I got one I think called Gold Star. There's several of them on there. I'll talk about those next week. Go check out some of those newer squash varieties, in addition to gold.
The Gentry is supposed to have a very good, if you like to take your vegetables, cut them up and dip them in a ranch, eat them raw, the Gentry is supposed to be one of the best eating raw squashes out there. Is that good English, eating raw?
Raw eating. Eating raw. All right, now we're getting down to the top 5. So these is the heavy hitters. Heavy hitters, the big boys. All right, number 5. Is the Brickyard Tomato. We grew that last year. Until we got the red snapper in, this was our most disease-resistant tomato we have. Now, we haven't grown the red snapper side by side to it yet, but this one here is pretty dang vigorous, even in some rough conditions we had last year.
Yeah, I think I'm going to grow it again just to make sure that my results were good last year. But it outperformed last year, but I want to try it in a different year, see what kind of results I get off of it. I may plant 4 different varieties. I'm definitely going to grow the red snapper. I'm going to go to Bella Rosa and Brickyard again. So I like to put them side by side and see which one comes out on top.
And the Brickyard is really good taste too.
I was pleasantly surprised with it. I didn't have as high hopes for it as what it turned out to be.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't think it was going to.
So disease.
That's right. I thought they may have compromised some of the flavor to get the disease resistance. And when I found out that it had both, I was like, yeah, that's nice.
Number 3, number 4 is our, the one we've been growing the longest, tomato, is the Bella Rosa. And this one here is hard to beat.
It's a little flatter tomato than the Brickyard is.
Think so?
I think it's a little flatter, not a flat tomato, but maybe a little, not as quite as that Brickyard. It might have been just me, but that things was huge, big tomatoes, and bigger round tomatoes.
Yeah.
And the Bella Rosa's
more average size tomatoes.
Yeah.
They probably more closer to size of your fist.
Well, for you, they get a little bit bigger than that for me.
But man, we've been growing this one as long as we've been doing this Hoss gig.
Oh man, I've been growing that for a long time. Yeah, I don't know how many years it's been out, but I told the story, but probably 10 years ago, I did 5 or 6 varieties side by side. Did extensive test grow out one year, and I grew all the highly recommended ones. Bella Rosa blew them away.
And I'll make this promise to you out there, folks. For our hybrid tomato varieties, we got the best germinating tomato seed and the fastest germinating tomato seed out there, and I'm not scared to make that claim. You can put them up against anybody else's seed. Our tomato seed, these hybrids, these pelleted ones, will germinate better and faster than any of them. Number 3, which is kind of sad because this one's leaving us when we run out, is the Tiger Collar. We do have a suitable replacement with the Top Bunch 2.0, but this Tiger Collar has been a good one.
It has. And I think we may have, 150, 180 seed packs left, something like that.
I haven't counted something like that, but I mean, it's got 97% germination on it. I mean, it's just almost 100%. This is just a good collared variety. And any of these, the Tiger, the Bulldog, the Top Bunch 2.0, any of those that you can crop, and man, they'll just grow and grow and grow 9 or 10 months out of the year. It's just going to be a really productive crop for you. And then our last 2, I bet nobody can guess what these are.
Who would have thunk?
Number 2 is the red Burgundy Okra, which we've been growing for a long time. It's not quite our most productive variety of okra, but it's pretty. It
is pretty, and it's the best pickling variety, in my humble opinion.
It does tend to stay more tender at longer lengths, I would say.
And the pods are more suitable for putting in wide mouth jars or pint jars, quart jars.
They're a little more longer.
They're longer, yeah. They turn green anyway. Most people don't understand, but these red okras, once you fry them up, they all look the same. They turn green. Or once you pickle them, they all look green after you pickle them. So,
the last one here, number 1. The number 1 seed variety we've got is Jambalaya Okra.
Jambalaya.
Now, the people from Louisiana always get mad when I talk about Jambalaya Okra because they say okra don't go in jambalaya, and I tell them I didn't name it. You know. I'm sorry. I apologize. Whoever named it obviously didn't know that. But I didn't come up with the name, but the name is what it is, and it's the most productive variety of okra you're going to find out there.
And that variety wins out over 2 to 1 than any other seed we sold.
Yep. We sold twice as many Jambalaya Okra at least twice as many as
we had the opportunity to run into the breeder of Jambalaya Okra a few months back up north. I believe it was in Ohio.
Yeah.
Cleveland?
Was it Cleveland? This is Cleveland, yeah.
We was in Cleveland. We run into the breeder, and we was telling her how well it did for us. She said, I was wondering where all that okra was going to. Now I know. So
we sold more Jambalaya Okra than anybody did. If you want an okra, it'll start producing about that tall, and just keep going and going and going. This is the one to go with. We like to plant 3 rounds of it. I like to transplant a round in April, and then I'll turn around in late May or June. Right around my birthday there, I always aim to plant. I'll direct seed me some, and then I'm liable, which means
apt to
plant some more come August, September.
And you be cutting okra all for about 9 months there.
All the okra you can want to be cutting okra all the time. And it's good because we try to keep okra. Okra's one of the things we try to keep in our vegetable bag. All right. So, hope you enjoyed that. If you never tried any of those varieties, definitely give them a try. And if you've got some favorites that weren't on the list, or maybe you've got some favorites within that 15 list, let us know in the comments below what some of your favorites have been so far if you've been buying seeds from us in the past year. We got some questions here. And if we answer you didn't bring your glasses?
I got my glasses. I'm going to try to do without them, but I got them.
So if we answer your question on the show, send us an email to customerserve@hosstools.com, and we'll send you a nice little prize.
First question comes from Ken Collins, and he wants to know, when would you start winter squash transplants?
Well, Ken, I brought my list back out that I had the other day. According to my list here, my Zone 8 seed starting list, I got late February for pumpkin/winter squash. Late February or early March, either one you'd be fine there. You want to plant these later than you do your summer squash. But I would say late February for us, early March. You're in Zone 7, back up 2 weeks.
Yeah. The reason I'm just counting up, most of them's 90 days to maturity.
90 to 100.
And you want them to come off before the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Because our squash bugs explode after that.
Yeah, you want to get them in early and get them out of there.
So you really can plant them anytime during the month of March and be fine.
All right, number 2 comes from Jeff Martin, and he says, can them tan pumpkins be grown on a cattle panel?
I'm assuming he's talking about them Cherokee tans, or maybe Seminole pumpkins.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good question. Now, I've thought about that. I think they could. I think you could actually do you an arbor or trellis.
I don't know that a 5-foot cattle panel would hold. I think you'd lose your cattle panel.
If it was supported well enough, it might. I've seen some people do it with gourds. I know pumpkins.
Yeah, but these Cherokee tans
I know.
grows tall.
Yeah, I would like. I think it's worth a try.
I would do like old Tom Matthews does. I would take them and bend them into an arbor. I wouldn't just do it like you do pole beans.
No. That's what I'm talking about. Doing something like that right there, I think it'd be neat.
They ain't so big that they would break. I think that it would hold them. It's just these things.
They load up, man. They load up.
Cover this room right here. So they would swallow one if it was low to the ground. I think if you give them enough height, they might do it.
Yeah, I would give it a try. I thought about it. I would too. All right, number 3 from Mr. Corey. Hit me with the last name here.
I think that's Halton.
Corey Halton says, hi guys, I have a question about a cover crop that I have planted in the garden now. The cover crop, winter rye and daikon radishes, are about 2 inches tall now, and I'm planning on planting my garden around the middle of March. When should I till in the crop before planting my garden into it? So
this is kind of what we're talking about, getting tater dirt ready. Kind of what I'm going through right now. I got a cover crop, and it's getting close to time. The gypsies done come around, and it's time.
You juiced up too.
Yeah, gypsies got me juiced up.
Gypsy jigging got you juiced up.
So I usually like to be at least 2 weeks out on doing something with the cover crop to when I need to plant. So I got mine, and once it dries up, I'm gonna do a video on this. I'm gonna mow it. I'm going to till it one time, then I'm going to put my chicken manure out there. I'm going to till it one more time, and it should be ready at that point. But I like to give myself at least 2 weeks.
I don't think it applies to Corey here, but another way you can tell when it's time to put your cover crops in is when they start blooming. With them daikon radishes or those mustard, anything that starts blooming, it's time to cut them in.
Yeah.
And I'm in that situation right now. Mine's starting to bloom, and
I mowed.
I got to get these taters out so I get back there and go work in the garden.
I went out there messing around in where my daikons are. I got some of them big as bullhorn.
Man, I got 2 or 3 long as my leg.
I believe you. You tell it. You didn't grow any personal sized daikons?
No, I grew giant daikons this year.
All right. Number 4 comes from Iwa or Uwa. How do you think you said that?
I don't know.
Iwa Hall. I have jumped the gun and started my cold crop seedlings at the end of December. They have 4 true leaves now. Might be good to transplant. I know it's on the end of January. Do you think they'll survive a frost if I put them in the ground?
What Miss Hall has done there is what we call granny syndrome. Your granny does it every year. She's going to start her plants way before she needs to, and they're going to get too big on her, and it just happens every year. And we say, Granny, don't plant them yet. Well, she can't stand it. She's going to plant them anyway. So we call it the granny syndrome.
So and plant tomatoes at Christmas.
She does. And I understand everybody gets juiced up, but there is a time for everything. If you have planted on Miss Hall and you got them up right there, and you better be planting you some more, because I think you're going to probably be better off to, and I don't know what zone you live in, but I think you'd be better off to plant.
She's talking about cold crop seedlings.
She's talking about cold crops. She sure is. Excuse me. They have 4 leaves now. It might be good.
See,
I got all that tater mess got me all messed up. Oh yeah,
right.
yeah.
Broccoli and cauliflower.
Yeah, I thought we was talking about tomatoes and peppers. Do you think they'll survive a frost? Yeah, they'll survive. Yeah, let them get just a little bit bigger and make sure you got a good root system there. They'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as with those types of crops, the only time a frost is going to hurt them if you got big old heads. The frost will burn those or ruin those. So.
But now back to the granny syndrome thing. People plant these peppers and tomatoes and things like that too early.
Yeah,
you got to be careful, and you get all juiced up.
And then you end up having to step them up, or they root.
Yeah, and it's just not good. So there is a time. There is a time to do everything. If you live in Zone 8. I can tell you from past experience, you nearly need to be starting your peppers now, because peppers are slow to germinate.
Which I just did.
February the 15th is when you want to plant those tomato seeds.
Speaking of peppers, I had
a little episode over the weekend. Things heated up on me. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I went to the greenhouse and did it, and I come back and I was working some of the office there, and I was just answering some emails. And
you don't type that fast.
I was answering some emails, and I said, well, something ain't right. And I had this sensation, and by the time it dawned on me what my problem was, so I had to take some action, cool things. I made it through it, but I did want to prepare everybody and not repeat the same thing I did. But everything turned out good.
If you plant ghost peppers, be prepared.
Be prepared. Be careful.
Well, I was going to talk about these this week. These half-grown carrots.
Personal size carrots.
Personal size carrots. But I believe I'll wait the next week, and we'll talk about then. So if you have any questions about the show, any comments, please put those below. If you enjoyed the show, give us a big like, give us a big thumbs up, give us a big share. We appreciate you guys watching every week, and as always, don't keep us a secret.
I got to get back there and pack more taters.
Plant more taters 24 hours a day.
24/7.
Doing all we can to get them out there for you folks. Hope y'all have a good night.
See ya.